it going? Well, I really hope that you will enjoy this. Because actually, just to recap a little bit to begin with, do you remember when, as a species, we were able to create fire, creating buildings, afterwards creating a whole civilization. Then the Industrial Revolution came. Then we started even more revolutions until reaching aviation, communications, the digital revolution. The question is, what is the next revolution that we're going to see and that we're going to feel in our cities? Well, that is the biotech revolution. Do you remember when you saw the movie Avatar? You saw a fantastic world called Pandora, where there were bioluminescent plants, where they were even storing memory within nature itself and generating energy out of it. Well, that is the kind of world, the kind of buildings and cities that we're creating with Bio. And one of the cool things is that we've been doing research for more than 10 years until reaching actual buildings that you will see in a second. We are starting to make not only buildings, but even whole cities. The European Parliament gave us the award of the most innovative company of Europe. Google gave us the award of the most disruptive company in the world. And we do everything, from the ideation, landscaping, installation, and maintenance. So we want to make things really easy to create the first biotech buildings in the world. And the idea precisely is to create these kinds of worlds, dream worlds, where we are able not only to create the technologies and applications that I mentioned, not only to create bioluminescence, not only to create energy and water from nature itself, but actually make it economically efficient. For the first time, we are making green areas that actually give you money instead of you having to spend it. So they actually have a positive ROI. Right now, we are actually based not only in Barcelona, which is where we originally founded Bio, but also in Riyadh. We have also an office in Ibiza of 8 hectares where we do different tests in different environments, and now even in Neom, because as you saw in the previous slide, we are one of the biotech, well, the main biotech partner of Neom. We are doing a lab with them to make research in Saudi itself. I just wanted to tell you this because we're not just a Spanish company, we're also a Saudi company, and here we even have the Saudi partners with us. And this is our goal, as I've said before, to create the first biotech cities in the world, not cities where you would just find a forest, but cities where we actually merge nature and biotech and, well, the human spirit that we have towards creating a huge civilization. These are basically the main pillars that we touch, but we do even more than these. And it's really interesting because, as I said, we do from landscaping to generating bioelectricity, water, and reducing heat with panels below the ground, with biological batteries below the ground. I will speak about it in a second. We also do bioluminescence. Literally, when the night comes, plants will glow in the dark. And the goal with this is not just to make something fancy, but is actually to reduce light pollution and to reduce the use of light points, to reduce energy consumption. And finally, we also do a lot of things in terms of bio-experience with a lot of other technologies that actually we've developed ourselves. Some of them are really interesting, like using plants as activators. Imagine storing message within nature to create living libraries in a park where you can touch a plant and hear voice messages of people that wanted to live a footprint. Imagine creating art out of it. Imagine creating music when touching plants. And imagine way more things that you will see in a second. Starting with the panel, as we call it, which is the biological battery. This product is really interesting because it's basically an engine that works with a microverse of living beings, of microorganisms below the ground. It works like your own stomach. You have microorganisms that they eat organic matter. In your own stomach, you generate heat. In our case, we generate the same thing, but it's free electrons that we trap, creating an electrical current. On the other hand, you generate gases. Here we generate hydrogen, which combines with the oxygen from the outside, creating water. So we generate water out of a solid, out of Earth itself. And that water vapor, which is colder, reduces the heat from the outside. An average of 4 degrees of heat. If you place these around the building or on top of the building, you will see that not only you will reduce the heat of the building, but actually the air conditioning expenses, up to a 20% approximately. And 20% of air conditioning expenses in a building is huge. But reducing more than a 50% in irrigation expenses in fields around the world, it's even better. So bear in mind that these panels can actually be placed in many different ways. We have 2 layers. In the bottom layer is where we have that microburst of life generating energy. We just use natural microorganisms, by the way. And on top you can place any kind of natural terrain. And overall, you can place them below the ground. You can hide them without even seeing them. You can actually, as I said, power light points. Depending on the amount of light points, you can power more or less. You can place them in many different locations in a variety of ways. You can walk on top of them without issues. Sometimes we even display a screen showcasing the impact in real time of all of these parameters that I've just mentioned. Bear in mind that everything here is fully automated. We measure humidity, temperature, pH to actually make this whole thing reduce up to a 60% of maintenance costs. Overall, as I said, the applications are limitless. You can place them indoors, outdoors. You could actually even place them in urban furniture. These are benches where you can lay down and charge your phone, plug to nature. Or even in buildings like this one. This is actually placed in every single balcony of the building. And it's pretty cool because here, as you can read, we are generating energy to activate 400 light points. We are reducing CO2, but also we are generating water. 3 million liters of water are generated here every single year just with these biological batteries, with the bio panel. We reduce almost 4 degrees in this case, which as I said, well, in this case it's a 19% of air conditioning expenses that are saved, and we generate a return of the investment. And this is the average return of the investment. We also have projects where we recover the investment in 5 years, but this is basically on the average. We're doing projects all around the world, from small things to parks to mega projects, and this is just an example of what happens if we focus on a specific area. How are these panels installed? We bring our team, we cover it all. We always use local teams, by the way, as you may suppose, maintenance included. The irrigation system goes below the ground, and then we place the rest of it. As I said, we could place it like this, or we could just cover it all with grass or any kind of natural terrain. So you don't really need to see the panels, as I mentioned before. In this case, we also displayed a screen showcasing the impact. We have many other examples of many installations that we've done around the world. This is a cool example where we were powering all of the light points that you see in this image out of the soil itself. And then, one of the very cool things that I wanted to show you is bioluminescence. To generate bioluminescence out of plants. And as you can see and read, the main message is to transform Earth to see the stars. And this is actually our goal, to adapt ourselves, to adapt our eyes to the night as we did centuries ago, just because nature is glowing by itself. We have different ways of creating this kind of bioluminescence. There are natural species, mainly of fungi, the same way as algae or insects do are bioluminescent sometimes. There are fungi which are constantly bioluminescent. We work with 58 species. 3 of them are actually local from Saudi, by the way. We also use compound, which is eco-friendly. You can even eat it, by the way. It doesn't damage the flora or the fauna. And it's pretty cool because you can adapt, you can add that compound to local species to make them bioluminescent. And it's super cool because you can transform a palm tree without genetically modifying it at all, just by adding the compound. And finally, we also do some plants that are genetically engineered, but these ones are still under development. The ones that we have on the market are the first 2, just so you have an idea. But it's enough to create very, very cool gardens that not only use local species and they don't damage the environment, they don't engineer anything, rather they're just adding natural species or a compound. And this is one example that I wanted to show you that you'll enjoy. super short. These are plants you can see during daytime, and this is how they look when you turn off the light. And as you can see, here we are using random species. You can use any species, and you can combine it with different colors. These are other examples. And overall, the main goal, as I mentioned before, is not only to provide these kinds of applications and do something that looks cool and really innovative overall, but something that actually provides the ability to reduce the amount of light points, to reduce the energy consumption of the environment, and of course that allows you to actually see the stars. Because they don't emit a lot of light, but it's enough light for you to see the space and to walk through the pathways of the park. And also we have other technologies like the Bioo switch, which allows you to connect with nature. We use like these standard systems. We could also apply it in custom-made applications. I wanted to show you this mixing board, which has been played by DJs around the world. This is a mixing board made of plants. And it's pretty cool. This was even played by David Guetta. I just want to show you this as an example because what we do provides a material impact with the panels, providing a return of investment, provides an aesthetical and also material impact with the bioluminescence, and an experiential impact with the biological switch. I'm not sure if you hear the music, but well, basically every time they touch a plant in the video, different bases are activated. This is just one example, but there are many, many applications, as you may suppose. And overall, we work, as I said, from conceptualization to the final implementation, even through hotels. We have things like this. This is a plant pot that you can touch and turn on the light, so that the first thing that lights up your day is a touch of nature. These applications, overall, are making great transformations in buildings around the world, from shops to hotels, to office buildings, to parks, and as I said, we're even working with NEOM to transform settlements in the region. We're making places that work indoors, outdoors, parks, a lot of parks actually, around the world, even ports. We're working right now with 5 different ports around the world, and more parks, even residential buildings that combine a little bit of everything. And that's basically it in a nutshell. These are like some additional details. And I just want to conclude saying that the same way that before I told you about the next revolution, the biotech revolution, I just want to emphasize one thing, and is that we actually aim to create a huge transformation. We've estimated that we're even able to reduce 1% of the CO2 emissions around the world if we applied this in the 10 main metropolitan areas of the world, which is a lot. But the same way, the Industrial Revolution transformed and reshaped every single city in the world. Now is the turn for the Biotech Revolution. We just need you if you want to work with us. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.